Happy Hum Day, my followers. So, if you are watching me on Facebook, make sure you click on the StreamYard link so I can see your name. If not, just tap your name. My YouTube and LinkedIn followers, if you want to chat with me, you should also put down your name so that I know who I'm talking to. And my Instagram followers, happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me for our weekly Wednesday Facebook live tutorial, streaming to Instagram. And my Facebook members, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? It's Hum Day, 2 more days, and we go into the weekend. If you're joining me the very, very first time, my name is May Yo Silvers. I'm the owner of M2 Hospitality, a multiple six-figure profit event planning company. I'm also the founder, event mentor, and coach that helps event planners to start and grow the event planning company into a multiple six-figure profit business, just like mine, through our 12 weeks or 12 months mentorship program. I'm also the host for the podcast, The Unstoppable Event Entrepreneur, and also the author for our newly released book. Let me just grab it over here. The Unstoppable Event Entrepreneur. If you haven't gotten this book, you should, because this is 2 years of my labor of love, where I create a blueprint, A to Z, on how to start and grow your events business using my method, using what I teach my other event planners inside our community, the Unstoppable Event Entrepreneur mentorship program, and to teach you how to start and grow event planning company into a multiple six-figure profit business. And this is only available at Amazon at this time, and I will drop the link inside the chat, okay? And it also talks a lot about, apart from the strategies and tactics, what you really need to start your business from the financial standpoint, the items, and also the mindset piece. So it's a comprehensive book that covers every single angle. All right. Okay. So for those of you who are here today, I am going to assume you're going to learn how to prevent price objection. I didn't say that I'm going to teach how to eliminate price objection. Okay. This is a prevention method. This is an avoidance method. And before we can even talk about how to prevent it, we got to understand why it even happened in the first place. Okay. So Jackie, thank you for joining me on Facebook. And we have quite a few of you too, Daisha and Helen. Thank you for joining me on Facebook, on Instagram. All right. So before, and if you're joining me on Facebook, you got to type your name. Unless you click on the StreamYard link. Okay. So, and then we have Siobhan. We have Sharon. Long time no see, Sharon. Thank you for joining me. Listen, if I'm not calling out your name, doesn't mean that I don't see you. I do see you, but I need to, I have a lot to teach today, and I have to end promptly at 12:30 because I'm going to do a coaching call with my clients inside the mentorship program, whereas today I will be auditing their website and social media to see if whatever they're putting out there is actually attracting the ideal clients that they want to attract, or is it giving out conflicting messages? Okay. All right. Hi, Donetta. All right. So when we have price objection, when we experience price objection, before we talk about how to avoid it, let's talk about why it even happened, right? Many event planners are puzzled why they're getting price objection when their work is so good. When they are like, my work is so good, I don't understand why people wouldn't pay my price. Why would they say that I am expensive? Okay, this is the most common complaint. How many of you can relate to that? And they don't understand, why do I have price objection? My work is so good. Everybody said that my work is so good. It looks so pretty. Why are people not paying my price? Why are people saying that I'm too expensive, right? So this is the number one complaint. They have no idea why they're getting price objection when their work is so good. So I can list you a whole slew of reasons, but we will be here until tomorrow. So I'm going to give you the top 3. Okay. The first reason is people don't know how much things cost, right? So we're talking to end users, potential clients who have no idea. They are not from the events field. They're not event planners or designers. They're not from our industry. They have no idea how much things cost. It's just like I asked you to go to a Ferrari showroom, okay? And I asked you to make a guess. How much does this Ferrari cost? For you, you may be hesitant to say how much because you don't want to appear ignorant, or you don't want to insult. You don't want to insult the other person, okay? So that could be a reason why your ideal clients never tell you the budget, okay? Which I'm going to come back and talk about this later. So they don't know how much things cost unless they have bought a Ferrari before. They have done a lot of research on Ferrari, how much the Ferrari costs. So if they have no background in terms of owning a Ferrari, renting a Ferrari, doing any research about Ferrari, they have no idea how much a Ferrari costs. So they could quote a number that is, for them, is a lot of money. They could say that it is a $250,000 or $150,000, whereas the Ferrari could be $750,000 or even $1 million. All right. So they have no idea. When they come and when they say that, hey, I want my event to look like this, or they ask you to help them with their events, and then they tell you what they want, and they have no idea how much it's going to cost to hire a planner, how much it's going to cost to put together this event in terms of the looks, like how much does material cost, rental items. They have no idea. So when you quote them a price, they are shocked. Okay, they are shocked that how could something like that be so expensive, because they are not from the industry. They don't know how much things cost. So it's not an insult to your work that why is my work so good and I'm still getting a price objection. It's because they have no idea, zero idea how much things cost. Hey, Jonathan from Venue RX, thank you for joining me. So they have no idea how much things cost. So obviously they will object, right? Because the price that you have quoted them is a lot more than what they think this thing is going to cost. So they have a perception how much that thing is going to cost, how much your service is going to cost, how much the look is going to cost, or their internal number. This number could be a number that doesn't make any sense. It's just a number that they tell themselves that this is how much I think it's going to cost. Okay, all right. So now they don't know how much things cost. So you get a price objection. Very simple. Okay, nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with them. All right. Now, the second thing that could lead to price objection is, they price shop and they compare you to others. Okay. Again, this goes back to they don't know how much things cost. So they start to price shop to get an idea how much things cost. So they shop you, they shop 10 other planners, 10 other designers, decorators. Okay. So they start shopping and they have no idea how much things cost, number one. And if your product or your service doesn't have a distinct difference between the other people that they are shopping around, then they will have no idea why one person only charged, let's say, $350 for a balloon installation, whereas another person charged $750. They have no idea why one planner charged $3,000 for a day of coordination, whereas the other one charged $300. Because for them, they can't see the distinction, right? Especially for those of you who's doing decorating. So if you do a balloon installation, they are not from the industry. Your end user is not from the industry. So they have no idea the different types of quality balloons out there. Okay? They have no idea. So for them, a balloon is a balloon. All right? For them, a linen is a linen. A chair is a chair. Okay, maybe one chair looks a little bit different from the other. The linen look a little bit different from the others, right? So for them, a balloon installation is a balloon installation, unless your installation is gigantic, okay? Like gigantic compared to the others that is like standard size. There is no justification why your price is higher. They don't know that your work is any better. They don't know that you are equipped with this knowledge to understand using different types of material is going to let the installation stay longer. Your balloon won't burst out of certain temperature, right? They have no idea that doing a double draping or a single draping or the type of draping, the type of material used is going to be the factor why your work is going to be a little bit more expensive compared to the others. For them, a drape is a drape. All right. So it all comes back to they don't know how much things cost. And then they start to price shop, and then we will have some people who spoil the market. Okay, some people who don't know how to price because they don't know their financial numbers, they don't know their fixed cost, they don't know their variable cost, they don't know their financial goal, so they don't know how to calculate what is the minimum that they need to charge. So they're charging based on what the market rate is, or they're charging based on what they think people will be willing to pay for their services. Okay, now this group of planners, designers, decorators are those people who work like a dog. Okay, book busy but broke. So we don't want to be there. Okay, so now we're these people who are spoiling the market, and then this person comes to you, why are you so much more expensive? And you know what's my answer to that? I'll be like, oh, you already shop other people, and my price is a lot more expensive than the others. Why didn't you book with the other person? That would be my first thing that I will say back. Got to have some balls to say that, but you don't say in a in a unpleasant manner. You ask in an inquisitive manner, like, oh, so you decide to speak with me because you think that I could be cheaper than them. I would strongly suggest that you book them because that is probably one of the lowest rate that I've ever heard. So you might want to secure them ASAP. But always remember, you pay for what you get. You get what you pay for. So you want to be able to stand up for yourself, okay? Because there are people who wonder why things are so cheap, and there are people who only want to buy the cheap things. So the people who come to you and still haven't booked the cheap ones is wondering, why is there such a big gap? And if you do a good job, you will be able to let them understand why there is such a big gap, okay? And then you start planting some seeds in their head. Cheap doesn't always mean good, okay? And for me, I'm a high-end shopper. I buy things based on quality, okay, and experience, not so much about the price. When I see something that I want to buy and I see a big range in prices, the very first thought I have, okay, and just a tidbit for you, this is how high-end buyers shop, okay? The very first thing that comes into my head is, why are you so cheap? Something must be wrong. So I would never buy the cheapest product, okay, or go with someone who charged me the cheapest, unless they have enough evidence to show to me that whatever they are doing is exactly the same as whatever the other person who's charging me 10 times more is doing. And then again, since I'm not from the industry, I may not know the quality. So I start asking educated questions, like, tell me a little bit about the quality. Is there any difference? So I would do my own research. But not everybody will do that. Hence, you will get people who will price object you when they start shopping around. Okay. So then the third thing, okay, that happens all the time that I see, that happens all the time that you get a price objection is, you never talk about money. You never talk about money in your conversation. This is how the conversation goes. And then we're going to dissect into, why do you do that? Okay, so that you can stop doing that. They never talk about money. And I think I've taught this many times. And I'm going to repeat myself so you can get it into your head. Is, okay, so you have a lead, okay? You have a lead who's talking to you. Now, we have an upcoming workshop on September 13 and 14, which I'm going to teach you the whole process on how to attract your ideal client, that ultimately we can close them, and we won't even have to deal with price objection, because the step-by-step process I'm going to teach you is going to prevent it from happening in the first place. So, or even if it does happen, it will be very easy to overcome. So the workshop, I'll talk a little bit about that later, but let's talk about today's topic, right? So there are many things you can do to prepare them. When you finally get to talk to them, they have a less tendency to price object, okay? So we will talk in detail about that in our workshop, September 13 and 14. Now, if for whatever reason you're speaking to them already, you're having a sales consultation, a sales call, and this is the mistake that I see a lot of people make. So they get a call with the potential client. They ask the potential client, oh, what do you need help with? Potential client tells them, this is what I need help with. Immediately, you go into what you can do for them, and then some, okay? You start telling them, oh yeah, I can definitely do this, and this is how I do it. all right? And then you start talking. You get stuck because you are thinking that, oh, this is how I'm going to get them excited. When I get them excited, they will buy from me, right? So you start talking about the things that they need you to help them with. You start talking about what are the things you can do, what are the things you would do, right? What are the things you can do, you know how to do, and you will do for them. All right, you start talking about these three things. You get them super excited. So now your potential client is like, oh, okay, they determine that you can help them because you have spoken so much already that you can do A, B, C, X, Y, Z for them. And you know how to do this, and this is how you're going to do it. Okay. Oversharing at this part of the conversation is how those price shoppers, leads, get your ideas and then go do it themselves. Okay. So we'll talk about qualification process in our workshop as well, but no time to talk about it here. So I'm just pointing out the mistakes. You start talking so much instead of asking question. Okay. So you start talking, and then after that, they say, okay, so how much does all this cost? All right. Or you start asking, okay, so this is what I can do for you. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is how it's going to look like. All right. And then either they start asking you, how much does it cost? Or you ask, what's your budget? Okay. What's your budget? And then what happens? Your potential client is hesitant to tell you their budget for quite a few reasons. One of it being they don't want to be ignorant because they're not from the industry. They don't want to insult you. And they don't want to be labeled as cheap. Okay. So they are feeling a little insecure. So they don't want to tell you. So they will be like, oh, it all depends on, why don't you send me a proposal? Then, my budget will depend on what I see on the proposal, right? So this happens a lot. If you didn't ask what's your budget, all right, or if you did ask and they didn't tell you what's the budget, what happens next? You'll be like, okay, because either you're not equipped with the sales skills to continue to ask more questions to find out about their budget, or you're in a hurry to want to end the conversation because you're afraid that the more I talk, the more ideas I'm giving out, number one, or the more I talk, the more they will try to bargain, nickel and dime me, okay, after I tell them how much it costs, all right? So you may tell them like, okay, so you may do your due diligence even when your potential client didn't tell you what's their budget, right? For those reasons that I mentioned just now. You may say that, oh, okay, well, in general, this is how much my fees are, all right? So you briefly touch on that. Yeah, in general, this is how much my fees are, but they fluctuate based on the type of services that is needed, okay? How many of you have committed this mistake? Okay, now be honest, all right? So you will say that, oh, you fluctuate, but you know what? Now I have an understanding of what you need help with. Let me put together a proposal. So you put together a proposal without really knowing what is their budget, okay? So even when you tell them how much it costs, that's just 10% of the equation. So they'll be like, oh, okay, all right, okay, so that's how much it costs. All right, so let me see your proposal. Or they start saying that, wow, that's expensive. Okay, that's expensive. I wasn't expecting that it cost that much. Now, when you get a price objection on that phone call, right, that's expensive. I didn't expect it to cost that much. How many of you already start feeling the anxiety coming out? Oh, now I'm dealing with a potential client who is going to nickel and dime me, who's giving me a price objection. So majority of you, and I'm not making this up because I have done my homework to talk to a lot of event planners, and this is what is being shared with me. A lot of you at this point will be like, but you know what? Okay, let me put together a proposal for you, and I can itemize things for you so you can see exactly, okay, how much each of these things cost. And then let's come back after you receive the proposal and let's go over it. And then we can determine how much this whole thing is going to cost you. How many of you have done that mistake, right? You do not want to continue with the conversation after they say that you are too expensive. You do not want to ask more questions when they say that, well, I don't know, I don't really have a budget, but it all depends on what you put on the proposal, all right? So I need to see the proposal. So your potential client is pushing for the proposal. And then for on your end, either you make the mistake of not asking exactly what's the number, or you make the mistake of not talking about finding out exactly how much they want to spend, okay? Or you make the mistake of not telling them how much it costs to hire you, okay? So you are now pushing everything into, let me send you a proposal. The client wants potential client wants a proposal, and you're thinking, well, verbally, they don't want to tell me the budget, or they already said that I'm too expensive, even I tell them the cost. So let me send a proposal that can probably better articulate, because now they have more time, they can digest the information. Now they can see why I charge this much, okay? Why this whole thing is going to cost this much. And once they see it, they, and then they probably will have a better understanding. So you are in a hurry to want to hang up the phone because you strongly believe that that piece of paper, aka the proposal, is going to do a better job in selling you to your potential client, instead of you going through this whole this conversation on the phone while you still have them. All right, if you just let them go and say that, oh, okay, all right, so why don't we do this? Let me send you the proposal. This is after they tell you that you're too expensive. Let me just send you the proposal, and then we can reconvene again and discuss. Now you are depending on that piece of paper to try to convince your potential client that why it's worth it for them to pay you this much money to and hire you. Versus, how is that going to be any different? What you say, how is it going to be any different on that piece of paper? How is it going to be any different? Why do you think that that piece of paper, aka your proposal, is going to do a better job to address your potential client's objection? Why? The reason, okay, many of you have shared with me that you're in a hurry to want to hang up the phone is because you're just uncomfortable going over price objection, number one, or you're uncomfortable to talk about money, number two, and number three, you just simply totally believe that maybe the potential client is not fully present and not able to really listen to what I have to say about my services and why things cost this much. So let the proposal do the work of converting them. Now, this is probably the worst thing you can do, okay? The worst thing. So there's quite a few of you watching me at this time, both on Instagram and Facebook, okay? Tell me, how many of you has committed any or all of these mistakes? Okay? Not asking for the budget, or when they tell you the budget, right? When they tell you the budget, you didn't address why the budget is not realistic, or you don't tell them about your price, and then you just send over a proposal. So when you do all these, okay, you don't address what is their budget and overcome the gap between how much things cost versus how much they want to pay. If you don't close this gap, that's a problem. That piece of paper is not going to help you. And but let's go back. The reason why you are in a hurry to not want to continue the conversation, the reason why you just want to let the proposal do the work, right? You have to ask yourself, why? Why do I want to hang up the phone so quickly? Remember, the moment you let them go, that means the moment that you're not talking to them, there's a very good possibility that you will never hear from them, okay? And I always say that you don't ever want your potential client to say that, I will call you back. You always want to be the one to set the date and the time. I am going to call you back. So when you put on your, now I'm teaching you how to prevent ghosting as well, not just overcome price objection. So when you have a conversation with them, okay, you need to be able to find out what is their budget. And then you want to be able to close the gap between how much you say is going to cost to do this event versus how much they say that they want to pay. So once you find out over here, where's their budget and how much you want to pay, how much it costs to hire you, you need to close that gap on that conversation. So the reason why you have this price objection is it's normal. Okay, I just want you all to know that it's normal to get a price objection, but you got to learn how to close this. If you don't learn first what is their budget, okay, and second, what makes them come up with that number, okay, and third, how to close this gap, all right, that piece of paper, the proposal, will never work. So when you're overcoming price objection, you have to ask question like, all this needs to be done on a conversation, okay, not depending on your proposal to sell them. You have to ask question to find out where did they even come up with that number. This number, where did they come up with? Like, how did they come up with this number that they think this is how much things cost? So once you find out how this number come out, it may not be a logical number. Again, right? They're not from the industry unless they price shop. Even when they price shop, the number may not be logical because they are comparing you to somebody else who don't know how to do their business finance. So you need to find out how they come up with this number. First, you need to find out with the number. Second, how they come up with this number. And then third, you got to close the gap, okay? So now this is the chance for you to distinguish yourself from other planners, okay? Why they need to pay you more? Why is your work better? You have to educate them. Why does it cost more to hire you? But that doesn't mean that they will book you, because if they don't care about the quality of the work, they just need a body to do the job, then they will never pay you. They don't care that you pay the top quality for your balloons, for your drapes, or any materials that you use. They don't care. So it doesn't matter. So this comes down to qualification. That means you didn't qualify that person from the get-go. Hence, they come down this funnel, come down this pipe. Okay, when you try to close them, you can't close someone who doesn't honor your work, who doesn't honor your attention to detail. It's impossible. Okay, well, I won't say impossible. It's going to take a lot for you to let them understand why your work is a lot more intricate and a lot more detailed compared to the others, because they don't care. It's just like trying to sell someone a filet mignon when this person is a vegetarian. Okay, so it all starts from the qualification as well. But the worst thing you can ever do is to not talk about money on that call. So when you want to overcome a price objection, you want to find out, number one, what's the budget? Number two, where did the budget come from? Where did this number come from? And number three, you got to talk about your price, okay? And don't let them go off the phone. So with that in mind, you are going to use this conversation and you're going to do some vision casting, okay? That means you want to ask them a question. All right, so if you hire me, this is how it's going to look like. If you don't hire me, this is how it's going to look like. Does it make sense to hire me? Or does it make sense for you to do? So now they have to compare the misery of working it themselves or the uncertainty of hiring someone who's cheap and don't know what's the quality versus paying a little bit more, okay? Paying a little bit more to hire someone that they know that they can trust and they know that they can do, that this person can do the job and they don't have to worry. But again, this can only happen, this tactic will only happen if you have done the qualification correctly from the get-go, okay? So I know you probably will have to watch this a few times to reabsorb all this information. It's a lot of information thrown at you at the same time. So go back and watch it and then make sure that you always need to have a money conversation. And if you cannot have a money conversation, you're one of those who want to hang up the phone very fast, you have to ask yourself why, okay? Because if you keep doing that, you're going to keep getting ghosted. You're going to keep getting price objection, and then you never have an opportunity to overcome the price objection because you hang up the phone so quickly, okay? So quickly. So now we have an upcoming workshop that is on September 13 and 14 that is going to teach you the step-by-step process, that is going to teach you the framework of attracting your ideal client And every single step has its own importance, okay? If you miss one step, it's going to make the next step more difficult, and it's going to make the next step more difficult. And then it gets to the point of having to do a lot of work on the sales conversation. If you have done these steps in the order that is supposed to be done, and you do it well, by the time you have a conversation with this person has already sold to themselves that they want to hire you. This is exactly what I'll be teaching in this upcoming workshop on September 13th and 14th, okay, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. So I will teach you the framework, all right, on how to attract your ideal clients. So I will drop inside the chat, all right, in comments, the link to sign up. Please know that this workshop is a ticketed workshop. It's priced at $27. It's not one of our free workshop, because we will really deep dive into every single step, okay? So it's almost me teaching, and then you ask questions and I coach you through. So it's going to be a little bit more intense and probably a little bit more longer. So it's priced at $27. You get to keep the recording. You get a workbook, okay? And you also get bonus, which you get to have a one-on-one call with me or my advisor to go through your business challenge. And you also get 1 month free inside our incubators membership, where you have 4 calls, Zoom calls, to do work together and to ask questions and be coached, okay? So the bonus is super insane. And if this is what you want to do, just comment register, and I will drop the link regardless. But if when you comment register, your concierge can reach out to you and sign you up. All right. So thank you so much for your time today. I have to coach on another call, and someone has a question. So it's like, should I assume if the client reaches me by email and doesn't want to provide me with the telephone number, she will not sign a contract? If somebody reach out to you, okay, if somebody reach out to you, depending if it's by email, okay, regardless whether it's by email or any form of methods of communication, they reach out to you, the very first contact they may not want to share any contact information. All right, they're just saying, hey, I'm looking for a planner, a decorator, designer, all right, and I need help with this. Can you do this? So it's just like dating. So it's like somebody asks you, hey, you want to go out, but you don't know this person. Will you immediately say yes? No. So you want to be able to respond back and say that, okay, so tell me exactly what you need, have a few conversations, then you ask for the personal information. And if they still avoid to give you the personal information, that means they are price shopping, because they don't want to be contacted by you. So when you get to that point, then I wouldn't even consider the conversation, right? After one email or 2 emails or 1 or 2 DMs or conversation, and I've already shared what I want to share without working for free, that means telling them all what to do and how to do it, then I will be like, let's get on a call and see, and then you are going to qualify them and see whether is there an interest to even hire you. So let's stop playing all this email tag, okay? So let's get on a phone call. If they don't want to get on a call with you, then I wouldn't waste so much time. You can just tell them this is my process, right? But a lot of times, I always start with a questionnaire. I start from the very get-go a questionnaire, and that's my very first step of qualification before I even get to the point of overcoming price objection. Because if you've done this part right, this part will not even happen, the price objection, okay? So the workshop is what we will be doing. So Christine, right, I see you comment register. Again, this is a ticketed workshop at $27 that comes with all these bonus. When you click on that link, it will tell you what it comes with, the ticket, what I'll be teaching every single day. There's 2 days, day 1 and day 2. So register. By the way, the $7 ticket when we first launched is all sold out, okay? Then we only have the $27 spots left. When this is gone, the price goes up again. So grab your ticket as soon as possible. All right. Thank you so much. And I have to go coach at inside my mentorship program. Today, I'll be auditing their website and social media to see whatever they're putting out there, does it actually align to attract the ideal clients? So I will see you, okay? I will see you next Wednesday, and I will quickly drop the link to sign up for the workshop, grab your $27 spot now before it goes up. $7 one was gone long time ago. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday and weekend. Bye.